Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the channel. My name's the Red Panda 315, and we are finally doing something that I've been waiting for such a long time to do. I've always wanted to do a Madden franchise on YouTube since I was a young little boy, and now here we are, finally trying to take a deep dive into this. Now, we're going to do things a little differently around here. I enjoy doing realistic rebuilds or realistic franchises, so if that's what you're into, this is the place for you. Now, even if that's not something you like, I still think this series should offer some insight into the game. I think I can bring up some really fun ways to be a GM, coach, whatever it might be. Now, that being said, let's go ahead and get into some of the settings while we talk. If you are new around the channel, this is your first time here, go ahead and click that like button, hit that subscribe button if you like the video and like the content. I really want to try my hardest to bring this stuff to you guys because I think it's going to be a lot of fun to make. And let me know what you guys, your thoughts on the series, what I should do. If I make a certain move, I might ask for your guys' input. I want you guys to help rate trades and stuff. All of that stuff I want to talk to you guys about. Now, we're going to be playing on all Madden. Pretty self-explanatory. I'm decent at the game, at least when it comes to playing the AI. I'll make mistakes, but it's part of the game. Trade deadline, all of that on salary cap. Superstar abilities are off. I think that it takes away from the realistic aspect of the game. I think Julio Jones is still going to dominate. I think Aaron Donald and Khalil Mack are still going to get sacks. They don't need these superstar abilities. I think certain ones like Gambler from Aaron Rodgers isn't going to be great. I think it takes away. A lot of people are able to incorporate superstar abilities into their realistic franchises. I don't think I'm going to be able to. But if that's something you guys want to see later down the road, we definitely can explore it. Injury is on, pre-existing injury is off. Most of this stuff is the same. We're going to play on 9-minute quarters to start the league. Now, I messed with some of these sliders. XP sliders. I don't, a lot of times, everybody would be really good once you get a few years in. So there you go. You want to look at some of that stuff, go ahead and pause the video. We want to get rolling. We'll go ahead and show gameplay sliders that we have picked the Carolina Panthers. That is my favorite team. I am a diehard fan, so I think I can provide some good insight, like I talked about earlier, on the Panthers. In general, I know the roster better than the average fan because it's my team, so I think that that can help us make some decisions, and it might hurt us some decisions if I have some bias. I'm going to try to eliminate that, and that's why I want you guys to help me out. Now, let's go ahead and get to know the team. Now, we're going to go through each position and all of that. But there are going to be one overrated and one underrated player from each side of the ball. Now, Teddy Bridgewater was signed in the offseason. Being a lifelong Panthers fan, this is probably the hardest offseason, losing Luke Kuechly and Cam Newton, some of my favorite players of all time. It was really tough, but we brought in Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater, I view him as a game manager, nothing more. He's not a franchise quarterback. He never will be, unfortunately. He's just kind of a guy who's going to come in. He should make the right decision. It should be accurate. He's not going to be game changing, but he should just be a mediocre starter. Now, I have him listed as my overrated offensive guy. I think he's most overrated on the team. You'll look through on the stats in real life. You have really high completion percentage, a lot of passing yards, but you'll look a lot of, watching the games or looking, it's a lot of dink and dunk stuff. It's a lot of yards after the catch from DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson. Teddy Bridgewater makes some good throws down the field, but not as much as you would think for how much he's getting paid. PJ Walker and Will Grier will be backing him up. I'm also a West Virginia Mountaineers University, yada yada. Big fan of Will Greer, but PJ Walker will still be in there for that backup spot. Halfback, we all know Christian McCaffrey, but my underrated guy on the offense is Mike Davis. I think he's going to be he's like second in the league right now in real life. We're in what, like week 13. The Steelers and Ravens just played, so the Wednesday night game, if that helps you out, they just played. And Mike Davis really going to help the ball club. We're going to try to get him in without trying to take away touches from McCaffrey. McCaffrey's going to be a beast. Trenton Cannon is he'll be our fastest backup. We also have Rodney Smith and Reggie Bonifant if they make the roster. Fullback Alex Arma. We love our fullbacks around here, so anytime we can brag about Arma, we certainly will. This is probably one of the most underrated receiving corps in the league because it's got a top-heavy trio, which is arguably one of the best. Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, and Curtis Samuel all are really good. You see they're all above 93 speed. Robbie Anderson's going to kind of be our deep threat guy, our bigger guy. I like DJ Moore I think he's the most talented out of this group. He's not the highest overall. I think he's the most talented. Easily could see him leading the team in receiving yards, and the same with Curtis Samuel. We'll probably switch a DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel in and out of the slot. We'll try to keep Robbie Anderson on the outsides. Keith Kirkwood and Pharaoh Cooper will be the other two receivers on the roster. They shouldn't be too notable, but they will be there. Pharaoh Cooper probably will be our return specialist. Moving on to tight end, a spot I really want to upgrade in the offseason. Chris Manhertz and Ian Thomas. JJ Jansen, unfortunately, will get the cut, but he's usually the long snapper. Chris Manhertz is going to be our blocking tight end, but he'll probably get a majority of the reps, first team reps starting this year. Ian Thomas, really good upside, 83 speed at the tight end position. That's good. He's a vertical threat. He's still young. He just hasn't broke out in real life. He's had some drop issues, but if we can get him out there, he's definitely one of those guys in real life and in Madden that can go for a lot of yards. In my offenses, for some reason, I throw tight ends a lot. I think they have the best routes in the game. You play Madden, you'll understand that. Just like the number one receiver on the left side almost always has the worst routes. Moving on to the line, Russell Okung was traded in the offseason for Trey Turner. If Okung could stay on the field, it'd be nice, but Greg Little should be the long-term replacement. We're just kind of hoping. He had some concussion issues last year in real life, so hopefully he can grow this year and be able to mold into our pass protector for the future. Dennis Daly and Chris Reed, nothing notable here. Dennis Daly's actually pretty underrated. He had a good season last year, but some injuries messed with him, so he didn't get a high overall boost. Definitely will impact this franchise. We'll see if he can hold down that left guard spot. At center, Matt Paradis, pretty solid guy, came over from the Denver Broncos a year prior. Tyler Larson is a solid backup, 64 overall, but he'll serve his purpose when he gets into the game. At right guard, Michael Schofield, we picked him up in the offseason, but we also have John Miller, who is right under him. As you can see, our offensive line is pretty rough, but the bright spot, Taylor Moton, who will actually have to re-sign him. His contract's up in the offseason, but he's the lone bright spot on the line. You can say Matt Paradis is there, but Moton, definitely need to secure him long term. Trent Scott's he's done alright in real life, but same thing with Dennis Daly. Not a good overall, really bad, but we'll use him and we'll see if he can get some upgrades. Brian Burns, arguably one of the best pass rushers in the league right now, definitely the most underrated. Spider-Man Burns has one of the deadliest spin moves. He'll be a pure speed rusher for us, and he'll definitely wreak havoc for years to come. On the other side, Yatur Gross Matos is going to be our power rusher. Really looking forward to him. He's played well in real life. He has hidden dev trait. That'll be nice. You see power rusher there. Rookie from Penn State. Really looking forward to seeing how he can play. He's got 84 speed on that edge. He'll be alright. And honestly, it'd be pretty solid if we ever wanted to go into a 3-4. F.A. Obata, Marquise Haynes, and Stephen Weatherly are all good end depth. Christian Miller and Austin Larkin probably won't see the field, but Christian Miller is a good outside backer. They have him listed as a left outside end, but that'll be something we visit in the off season. D tackles Derek Brown, the our first round pick of the Panthers this year. Looking forward to seeing him play well. He'll be like our run stopper and our power rusher up the middle. Um, we'll see if how he can do. This is a really good young core D line. It'll be, yeah, we'll hopefully see how good they do. K'Wan Short, good Panther for a long time, but unfortunately, injury concerns. He's dipped in production. We'll see. He has a decent year. We'll bring him back. If not, it'll be on Zach Kerr most likely next year. And Bravion Roy, I think he's a fourth or sixth round pick the virtual draft, and so we'll see. He'll probably hit the field a few times, and we're gonna try to mold him into a big run stopper. The backers, it gets kind of shaky. Our leader of the defense, Shaq Thompson, signed into a big extension in the offseason after Luke Kuechly retired. He's a run stopper, but he's alright in the pass game. 85 speed, which is nice. Good tackle, good hit power. He'll definitely be the playmaker on the team. Overall, doesn't do him justice. He plays a little higher than that in game. Hopefully, we'll be able to see that. Julian Stanford, just a solid backup. Nothing much there. Middle linebacker Tahir Whitehead was a pickup from the Raiders. Hasn't played well in real life and is reflected here in his overall. He'll definitely be a run stopper. I find him really good in the run game, especially using him. So we'll definitely see how that goes. We're still stuck with him for at least 1 year. Let's take a look at his contract really quickly, but he'll be alright. We'll see how he does. Yeah, we have him for 2.5 this year. Nothing crazy, but he's here. Nobody of note. Maybe Chris Orr. I think he's an undrafted free agent. Right outside linebacker, Jermaine Carter Jr. He'll be rotating in at that outside backer spot, but when we get into our we'll talk about it in a little bit. We run a lot of nickel sets because of one person. Corners, we lost James Bradbury, who's been arguably one of the best corners in the league right now. He leads the league in pass deflections over there in New York for the Giants. Dante Jackson, one of the fastest corners in the league. Really good ball player. He's a good athlete. He just struggles in coverage sometimes. We'll definitely try to lock him up long term. He's a good man-to-man quarter. He's got the speed that you want, but again, coverage is a little weak at times. Press can be better, but 98 jumping, 96 speed, 93 accelerations, definitely a stud back there. And definitely, if we wanted to move him to the offense, which we definitely wouldn't, he'll be a pretty solid guy. 48 tackle, though, something we've got to improve on. Rasul Douglas and Corn Elder will be taking snaps. Douglas will be on the other outside, and Corn and Troy Pride Jr. both will be fighting out in the slot. Troy Pride is the rookie this year, same with Stanley Thomas Oliver. And Corn Elder, he's been with the program for a little bit, so he'll be alright. We want to look to get Troy Pride in that slot. I think with that 93 speed, he can be really solid there. But we'll just have to see where it takes us. At free safety, Jeremy Chin, arguably one of the best players. He is my underrated pick for the defense. He's going to be an absolute monster for us. He's probably the best player on this defense right now besides Brian Burns. He's definitely a hybrid guy. He's been playing a lot of middle backer, a lot of outside backer for the Panthers. In real life, that's what we want to use him as. He's one of those guys where he can fit up in the run game. He can go into the slot, cover tight ends with 91 speed. He also can keep up with some of the faster receivers with that 91 speed. Decent zone coverage. He's got alright man coverage, but he's got good tackling and good hit power. Decent tackling, but got good pursuit, really good player. Play rec is decent enough for the position. He can catch the ball. He shouldn't get hurt. He's really one of our best players. For right now, this season, I want to rotate him in with Tahir Whitehead, kind of in those passing downs, almost like Tahir Whitehead. We got somebody maybe like Dalvin Cook in the Vikings later in the season. You see a lot of Tahir Whitehead, whereas Jeremy Chan will probably match up with like Tampa Bay with all their good tight ends and receivers. And my overrated pick is actually in the same position. Trey Boston, 28 years old, 78 overall. Has just played really poor in real life, and I think it's pretty accurate in the game too. Decent speed, his tackling 73, but he definitely doesn't tackle like that in the game or in real life. Not good man coverage. He's a free safety. He won't be in man all too much, but it is a weak spot. He's got 90 hit power, but um, sometimes he'll lay somebody out but won't even get the tackle. He's definitely my most overrated on this defense. Kenny Robinson Jr., another West Virginia alum. We'll see how he can do. We'll definitely keep him around, probably on the practice squad. Justin Burris will be getting the start at strong safety. He's played well in real life, 66 overall. Isn't the greatest. I like him actually as a hybrid, I'd say. I think he does well matching up against tight ends for some reason. He does really well with his hands in real life. He's only 6 feet tall, but we'll see if he can be able to manage. He's still got 87 speed, 61 man coverage, which is very weak, but obviously he's a little underrated. This is just coming from somebody who knows the Panthers. Sam Franklin and Miles Hartsfield. There'll be two guys to back up. You might see Miles Hartsfield get in on some special trick plays for special teams, and you might see him rotate in if we get some injuries to the running back or receiver position. He's got 92 speed. He could carry the ball. He ran a little bit in college. So we'll be able, he'll be an interesting guy to look at. Kicker, we have one of the best. I really like him. Joey Sly, 99 kick power. Obviously, 77 accuracy is a bit of an issue. He's young. He'll be cheap. So, we'll be rocking with him. He's also ripped. He's swole. Look him up. Michael Pilardi and Joseph Charlton. In real life, Michael Pilardi got hurt, so we signed Joseph Charlton Jr. or not Jr. We'll see. Most likely, we'll stick with Michael Pilardi. It wouldn't make sense to keep Joseph Charlton, but you never know. We'll see what happens. Draft picks for those who care. We have for this draft coming up, we do have 1 through 7. And for next year's draft, we are also 1 through 7. Nothing crazy there. Practice squad shouldn't be anybody on there. So pretty solid squad. We'll be toting the line. We don't want to tank this year, but we want to see what we've got in Teddy Bridgewater. I say he's our overrated player, but that doesn't mean I'm giving up on him. I think he'll be able to produce all right, but I don't think he'll be a game changer as many people try to give him credit for. Looking in, let's go look at our specialty positions. I want to start with Curtis Samuel in the slot. I really think that speed. I'll actually start third down back. It's going to be Christian McCaffrey. I've kind of debated putting Mike Davis here as a power back. I think he's got really good trucking. 84. I think he'll be a good power back, but McCaffrey is just too good, especially around the goal line, which is where the power back would be in. It's hard to take McCaffrey out of the game. And we'll also try to line McCaffrey up out as a wide receiver and try to get Mike Davis in at a halfback just to kind of make sure both are getting in the game because Mike Davis is a stud. If we struggle getting into the game, he might be a trade piece down the line. Because he's too good to hold on to and not use. Slot receiver, I think we're going to start with Curtis Samuel. The game agrees. Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore are both solid picks, and they could give not Curtis Samuel, but Christian McCaffrey there at an 80 overall is pretty solid too. 95 speed from Samuel. Rusher, it should be Burns, left. He'll be given right tackles fits all year, and at the right rush end, Yaturgos, Matos, and is there anybody we're to? I feel like Stephen Weatherly, he might be alright, but F.A. Obata, we'll put him in there. there should be some switching around, some rotating in, and rush D tackle should be Derek Brown, but Zach Kerr isn't a terrible option. We'll also move K'Wan Short up in there because definitely want to get him into the game. We're still going to run a 4-3. It's my preferred defense, and especially with a weak linebacking core and spots, um, you definitely just want to get as many of these studs on the D-line on the field as possible. Sub linebacker is going to be Jeremy Chin. There we go. It's going to flip. Jeremy Chin, pretty solid. And then slot corner, I think we're going to give it to Corn Elder to start the year. But Troy Pride right there. And Sam Franklin, somebody to pay attention to. Again, we are going to go back. Free safety. We're not going to start Jeremy Chin there. I don't think he's ready. As much as I don't like Boston, I think he's overrated. I do think he's still our better option there. Because I think Jeremy Chin's somebody we need to move around. He's definitely can develop as one of the best hybrid players, versatile players in the league. It's kind of like Isaiah Simmons coming out of the draft. That's what a lot of people. That's how he's playing now. But obviously, he kind of pooped the bed, Isaiah Simmons. That's going to be the end of the first video. I know it's a lot of talking. That's usually how these first videos go. I hope you guys are interested in the series. If you guys have any suggestions on what you think about the roster or anything, let me know. You have any questions, shoot them in the comment section. I love talking to you guys, and I love getting feedback, whether for my in-game decisions, how to do this series better, or, just anything. You can ask me football questions, anything of those sorts, but with that being said, I believe that's everything. So, have a good one. Hope to see you soon.